Good morning, lovely listeners, and welcome back to Learn English, Grow Yourself. I'm Mel, here in our cozy studio, sipping my too-hot tea again.
And I'm Matt, cautiously eyeing Mel's tea before it knocks over my notes. How's your week been, Mel?
Oh, full of ups and downs. My plant nearly died again, but I rediscovered an old notebook with inspiring quotes. You?
I've been trying to budget. Always a struggle when your flatmate eats all your biscuits.
The eternal struggle, dear Matt. But today's topic might help with that. We're diving into Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes, it's a classic in self-development and financial mindset. But don't worry, listeners. We won't drown you in numbers. We'll stick to ideas that help you personally and your English, too.
Exactly. Let's get started.
Sue, Mel, what's the basic contrast Rich Dad, Poor Dad sets up?
The author grew up with two father figures. One is his poor dad, his biological father, a well-educated, conventional man who believed in job security, saving money, climbing the corporate ladder. The other is his rich dad, a friend's father who believed in financial education, risk, and investing. The contrast shows two mindsets.
It's almost like two paths. The safe path or the path of opportunity. One guides you to follow conventional wisdom. The other invites you to think differently about money.
Yes, and I think that contrast works well for English learners, too. We often learn two approaches to language, too. Stick rigidly to grammar versus explore it creatively. But anyway, let's pick out two or three key ideas and explore them with examples.
One of Kiyosaki's most famous teachings is rich people buy assets. Poor people have liabilities.
Right. And many people misunderstand it. An asset, in his definition, is something that puts money into your pocket. For example, a rental property that gives you income, or a business that generates profit after expenses.
A liability is something that takes money out. For example, a fancy car is often a liability. You pay for maintenance, insurance, depreciation.
Exactly. So a big takeaway is invest in things that produce income, or at least reduce your liabilities.
In terms of language learning, think of good habits as your assets. If you practice speaking every day, record yourself, listen. These are income-producing habits. A liability might be watching too much TV in English without thinking, or memorizing long lists without using them.
That's a clever parallel. And in real life, someone might buy a small coffee machine and set up a side business or invest in shares. Even modestly, book royalties, dividends, peer-to-peer lending, if done wisely.
The key is awareness. Before you commit money or time, ask, will this give me a return or cost me over time?
And for many, the answer reveals whether it's an asset or liability.
The second major idea is that formal education alone is not enough. Kiyosaki argues that schools teach you how to work for money, but not how to make money work for you.
Yes, and by financial education, he means learning about investing, accounting, markets, risk management. Not necessarily complicated formulas, but basic literacy.
A lot of people fear investing because it's unknown territory. Kiyosaki suggests you start small, learn by doing, make mistakes.
He emphasizes mindset a lot. Fear, greed, envy, they influence our choices. If you fear losing money, you may never invest. If you envy what others have, you may overspend on liabilities.
In language learning, this is like the difference between students who fear making mistakes in speaking versus those who embrace them. The fearless ones improve fastest.
So you cultivate a mindset of growth. See challenges as experiments.
And combine that with education. Read books, study finances, talk to people, test small moves.
A nice example. Someone might buy a small share in a company. Follow it monthly. Learn. It's not about becoming a billionaire overnight. It's about building confidence and skills.
Exactly. Over time, these small steps compound.
If we stretch to a third idea, use leverage. Kiyosaki talks about using other people's time, money, or resources to build income.
For example, you might hire people to manage your rental or your online business, or borrow capital to invest wisely, assuming risk is controlled.
He calls attention to passive income, money you earn even when you sleep. Rental income, royalties, dividends, business earnings with minimal daily input.
But he warns, leverage can backfire if misused. If debt is high and income fails, it becomes a liability.
So you must understand risk and maintain control.
For language learners, what's the leverage? Use technology, apps, podcasts, AI, like us. Partner dialogues, so you get input even while doing other tasks. Passive exposure.
Exactly. Listening to English while jogging or cooking, that's passive input. Over time, you earn fluency even when busy.
And if you make a language habit so strong it runs with less effort, that's kind of passive language income.
I love that metaphor.
All right, Matt, before we send our listeners off to practice, let's review high-value vocabulary from today's chat.
Great idea. Let's pick 10. I'll say the word, you define it, and then I'll add a funny sentence. 1. Asset. Definition, something that brings you income or increases in value. Example, I bought a little ebook business. It's now a small asset. Funny note, my cat is not an asset unless he pays rent. 2. Liability. Definition, something that costs you money or takes away value. Example, a big car loan is a liability if it drains your savings. Funny note, my gym membership is a liability. I barely go. 3. Mindset. Definition, a mental attitude or way of thinking. Example, she has a growth mindset. She sees failure as feedback. Funny note, my mindset sometimes says, just 5 more biscuits. 4. Leverage. Using something to multiply your results. Example, money, effort. Example, he used leverage to grow his business faster. Funny note, I wish I had leverage to stretch my legs longer in bed. 5. Passive income. Definition, money you earn without actively working every minute. Example, dividend stocks give me a bit of passive income each month. Funny note, that kind of income should ideally pay for my coffee. Returns. Definition, profit you get from an investment. Example, I hope the investment gives me a good return next year. Funny note, I return socks to shops, but not my brain. Compound. Definition, to increase by multiplying effects over time. Example, small savings compound over years into something big. Funny note, my worries also compound if unchecked. 8. Experiment. Definition, try something to see what happens. Example, I'll experiment with speaking English every morning. Funny note, I once experimented by wearing socks to bed. Disaster. 9. Fear. Definition, an unpleasant feeling because of danger or risk. Example, fear holds many people back from investing. Funny note, I fear no one, except spiders and deadlines. 10. Control. The definition, power to influence or decide something. Example, keep control of your expenses. Don't let them control you. Funny note, I try to control snacks, but the snacks control me.
Perfect. These are words to keep in your vocabulary toolbox this week.
All right, time for some fun, easy exercises to lock in what we've learned. Listening challenge. We'll say 2 short sentences. Pause the audio and shadow them. Repeat right after us, mimicking intonation and speed.
Rich people buy assets. Poor people acquire liabilities.
Investing is not about money, but about mindset and learning. Speaking challenge. Record yourself just 1 to 2 minutes summarizing one of today's ideas, maybe the assets versus liabilities concept, using at least 3 vocabulary words from our recap: asset, liability, mindset, experiment, etc.
Reflection prompt. Over the next week, notice one purchase or decision you make. Ask, is this an asset or a liability? Does it give me return or cost me? If you can, try a mini experiment. Spend just £5 or €5 on something small, maybe invest in a book or small stock, and track its outcome.
Bonus mini task. Think of one language asset you can build: a podcast subscription, a speaking partner, a recording habit, and commit to using it daily. That's all for today's episode on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Don't forget, you can download a free PDF from our website, including the transcript, book summary, and full recap sheet for language learners, vocabulary, phrases, grammar, pronunciation, practice.
Yes, and maybe your liability this week will be your phone, so choose it wisely for English practice. Thanks for listening, folks.
2 voices, 1 goal, better English, better you. Bye for now.
Bye, and I'm off to raid the biscuitin'.